You're watching Worldview 2, built on the 35 years of Worldview books, documentaries, research, high-profile interviews, and the radio and television broadcasts of Brannon House.
Massive human trafficking. It's a record 288 people arrested.
They're not reporting the real numbers.
The numbers are segmented and they are fictitious.
I started my career in 1997 in the United States Border Patrol. It was one of the most violent times in recent Border Patrol history. I made my bones and my reputation on that border. I believe what is happening on the border today is intentional.
We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them.
Our own government is facilitating the absolute destruction of the American immigration system, and I can prove it point by point. I'm unafraid to speak the truth. This is just data-driven and experience-driven.
The 3 most dead cities in the USA, everyone is fleeing. Number 3, St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis lost over 77,000 residents in just 10 years, becoming America's fastest shrinking city. It has a violent incident rate of 87 per 100,000 people, over 15 times the national average. Over 25% of homes sit abandoned, and some neighborhoods look like entire zombie movie sets. There are parts so empty that in a 2023 survey, less than 1 person per acre was recorded living there. Number 2, Detroit, Michigan. Detroit crashed from 1.85 million people to just 620,000, wiping out 2/3 of its population like a ghost wave. The city has over 70,000 abandoned buildings, so many that experts say it would take 40 years to tear them all down. 50% of adults struggle with basic reading, and the car insurance costs here are so extreme, the average bill is higher than some monthly rents. In some areas, homes for $1 still sit untouched for years, overtaken by trees and wild animals. Number 1, Gary, Indiana. Gary fell from 178,000 residents to under 66,000, losing more people than entire small countries. Today, over 30% of the city is abandoned wasteland, with schools, malls, and even entire neighborhoods left frozen in time. In 2024, real estate surveys found more stray animals than children living in some areas. What do you think is the main cause of this issue? Let us know in the comments.
If you're going to San Francisco, be sure to wear some flowers in your hair.
Welcome to Truth with J.J. Carrell. That is our America. I don't care if you live in some Stony Brook enclave of some beautiful major or mid-sized city. That is America. I've been to several of those places filming my documentaries. I was down in Philadelphia in Kensington Street, Kensington neighborhood. It's not a street. I want you to think of a 1 square mile of the Night of the Living Dead, The Walking Dead, Fear of the Dead. It's zombies everywhere. People with flesh-eating diseases. Like you're watching their flesh eat their limbs. There's doctors roaming the streets, taking the people off the streets to amputate their bodies. Then they go right back out and they start hitting the fentanyl, heroin, cocaine. I mean, it was unbelievable when I was there. I could not believe it. I could not believe it. And as I was driving through Kensington, and I've been through St. Louis and Kansas City's just north of me, Kansas City, Missouri, not Kansas City, Kansas. Grew up in New Orleans, been, of course, to LA and now parts of San Diego. All the major cities I've been to. And they're gone. They're bombed out like movie sets. What do they have all in common? All of them. Democrat run for decades, a majority black population. We have allowed this to happen to our country. And as I've traveled through Kensington, and this is in Philly, St. Louis, as I said, and on and on and on, every time I go into these places, it's not the shock value of seeing American citizens literally stooped over, laying in a fetal position or a hunched over position for hours and hours and hours. I'm not shocked that the police do nothing. The police just drive around with Narcan and shoot people up to bring them to life. It's not that. You know what's shocking to me, what grabs me every single time, is I think we gave away $300 billion to Ukraine. $300 billion. Kensington, are you telling me that I could not build a state-of-the-art, massive, state-of-the-art rehab facility that had everything we needed, and then we scoop these people up? No matter, I don't care what the ACLU says, just make them a terrorist organization. Scoop these people up, take our streets back, put them in these mental hospitals, and if they have to stay there forever, they stay there forever. What's more humane? Giving them 3 square meals a day, trying to get them to be okay, or allow them to lay there with their flesh being eaten away? Come on, I need an answer. We paid for the pensions of all the government workers in Ukraine. Over half the billions that we gave them are unaccounted for. Mitch McConnell said it's okay that that's happening because all the money is coming back to the defense contractors in America. Well, yay for you, Mitch McConnell. That's great. When will our politicians begin to do what's right for America first? And I don't think they ever will. I don't. And how do I know that they never will? Because the clock is ticking every single day Trump is in office, is every single day closer to him being out of office. What politician is going to step in his stead and continue down this America first? Come on, I want to know. Outside of the maybe J.D. Vance, maybe. Who else? Come on, try as hard as you can. Anybody that's in D.C. now believes in America first. Speaker Johnson? Speaker Johnson just passed or just pushed through the big, beautiful bill. It's 120 days now. There's no one that can replace Donald Trump, and that's scary as hell. That is scary as hell. Look, I'm not saying we take $300 billion and go into the inner cities. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, while our cities are in absolute decay, How is it possible that we send $300 billion to Ukraine to fight this phantom war with Russia? Why is there not a national emergency to go down to Detroit and literally clean out all of the abandoned buildings, destroy them, bring it down, seize the property, tell whoever owns it, you have 30 days to begin the process to demolish your building because it is unsafe. And now we can have people come in and will invest. I'm not going to invest when I got 70,000 broken down houses and buildings with junkies living in them. Not going to happen. When are we going to start to make America a priority? My show today is just simply titled, Why Have We Ignored Our Own Nation? Why have we ignored our own nation? Why? Why? Because the politicians for decades have been receiving kickbacks, have become wealthy with power. All the people in positions of authority and power, state, local, and federal, have been gotten wealthy, generational wealth, because they sold out their constituents. They sold America out. And then coupled with that is the insane social engineering, a division of races, ethnicities, sex, status. They did that through the ACLU. They do that through social media. They do that through zoning. Maybe ask ourselves a question. Everything that we have been doing for decades has been a failure. That's not my hypothesis. That's not what I believe. This is just factually the truth as I see it with my own eyes. You can either believe the grotesque politicians and the propaganda from the media, or you can go down and look for yourself, smell the street for yourself, see what rot-eating flesh looks like and what it smells like. You can go down into housing projects and see generational housing, meaning the grandmother, the mother, the child, and now the child's getting pregnant at 13, 14, 15, and they're going to be in this vicious cycle. Nothing is going to change. Why? Because we spend our money, our time, our talent, our treasure across the globe. At least $8 trillion in the Middle East. Stop for a second and say, what could we have done in the last 25 years with $8 trillion in America? What could we have done? Hiroshima in Japan has a bullet train. I was there. I rode it. Has a bullet train. We bombed that to smithereens. There was nothing standing. They have a bullet train. Detroit at the same time was thriving. I believe it was the highest per capita income in the nation outside of New York and LA. Even those, they were the number one. Now it's a cesspool of rot. Who built Japan? Whose money built Japan? Our money. Germany has incredible highway system. Clean, beautiful. Sure, they brought in millions of Middle Eastern men and they're destroying the country now, but at one point it was spectacular. Who built it? Whose money built it? Well, that would be our money. So outside the 8 trillion for the Middle East, there was probably equivalent of at least 2 or 3 trillion that went to Germany and Japan. Now, why would we do that? Who made money off of those contracts? Who would think of this? I want you to think of this, because it's all propaganda. Somebody comes and burns your house down, kills your wife, your dog, 3 of your children. You have 2 more left because we had 5 children back then. Having babies was a priority. So I have a burned out house and I have 2 kids. So I find out who did it, and then I go blow their house up. I mean, I don't blow their house up. I blow their whole neighborhood up. There's like 30, 50, 60 homes there. I burn them all to the ground. I don't just burn them. I drop a bomb and I incinerate it. And then as my house takes for eternity to get rebuilt, politicians come and forcibly take my money through taxes to pay for the neighborhood from the neighbor that destroyed my home. There's no difference. Don't tell me we needed trading partners and we needed to build them up and it was the best thing for our world. No, it wasn't. How about the world continually looks at Germany and continually looks at Japan as they struggle to come out of the ashes of, dear God, I never, ever want to tangle with the United States of America because it will take generations to overcome their strength and power. This is one of the propaganda lies we have been told throughout of our education. Look at how generous we are. Look at how weak we are. Look at how corrupt we are. Look at how families became generationally wealthy off the backs of death and destruction and your money. I'm going to start talking about in the next segment of how they stole our money. The propaganda of Joe Biden. Joe Biden now has terminal stage 4 prostate cancer. And the propaganda lie is that it happened in the last 100 days. Okay. Sure it did. Anybody knows anything about any family members that had prostate cancer? It doesn't happen overnight. You're constantly being checked. I'm in my 50s. I get checked. My father get checked. All my friends get checked. Everybody gets checked. There's precursors. So get ready for the propaganda. How do we combat the propaganda? How do we combat the lies? Well, you are prepared, because propaganda and lies always end up in destruction. Always. I need to be in contact with my family. I can't trust the Verizon, the T-Mobile. You trust them? We were within one election of phones turning us off. You think that's Orwellian crazy talk? Conspiracy theory? Are you serious? We were heading down the tyrannical trail of government, of censorship that we can't even imagine. I don't want to be beholden to anybody because I trust no one. So I need a sat phone, and my family has sat phones. And I got them from sat123.com. Why did I choose them? Besides, I came right into my wheelhouse as a partner in my show, and I began to look at their website and talk to their people. And I'm like, okay, well, this is a no-brainer. I can go get free sat phones with a $95, $99 a month subscription. Okay, I got it. Give it to me. You're going to give me phones that are $300,000, $600,000 for free? Okay, give me those. Here's the plan is $95 a month. I spend $95 on Monsters and Red Bulls and candy within the first 3-4 days of the month. So yeah, this will be a priority for me and my family. And then I got my son and my wife ballistic backpacks, beautiful black backpacks that have a ballistic shield in it. Why? Go back and watch those videos I just played at the beginning of my show. That's why. That's why. This isn't blackpilling. This isn't fear tactic. This is just, you need to be prepared. Period. You need to be prepared. Go to sat123.com/JJ or go to the number on the screen. They have customer service, not people from India, in Bangladesh, in Cochin, India. No, these are Americans standing by, ready to talk to you. Unbelievable. I know it's an anomaly, right? Americans selling you an American product in America, and there's actual customer service. Wow. Unbelievable. Give it a shot. sat123.com/JJ. Well, how did they steal our money? How did they steal our money? Listen to this man on cutting USAID and how our government used USAID as a personal piggy bank. Watch this.
The U.S. government runs a $2 trillion deficit every year. We're in debt almost $40 trillion. And we also knew that anytime anyone tries to cut anything in Washington, the whole city screams bloody murder. Okay, so the question is just why? Well, now we know. The money is all going to them. It's like round tripping to them. New York Times, getting paid. Politico, getting paid. Bill Kristol, perennial warmonger, getting paid. Ukraine, getting paid. Like 11 out of 12 publications, Ukraine, getting paid.
Incredible.
Viktor Orban, who's the prime minister of Hungary, was saying that he's very popular in Hungary. His political opposition, funded by USAID. In Poland, the left-wing political opposition funded by USAID, and on and on and on it goes.
BBC. You wonder why everyone in the UK.
Paid.
So yeah.
Like
I couldn't believe the BBC is getting paid.
Every left-wing organization in the world seems to be getting paid by this slush fund at USAID, which disperses about $50 billion a year. That's $1 billion a week. That's actually a lot of money. And so it makes you wonder. The left in general tries to portray itself as a movement of the people, that it's grassroots. This is the exact opposite. This is AstroTurf. This is basically money coming from the top down out of Washington to fund all of these groups, maybe not even in the United States, like all over the world. So it makes you wonder, what is the real level of local support for these left-wing policies all over the world?
Well, you can stop it there, Caleb. What is the local support? Do you want your billion a week? Look, and that 50 billion, that's just what we discovered right now. That's, quote, their budget. For 4 years, that's $200 billion a year, okay? So every week Joe Biden's been in office, the baseline that we know about is $1 billion a year going to Ukraine for their propaganda machine, going to BBC, going to fund multiple left-wing media organizations. Listen to what I just stated and what that man stated. Our government took our money and gave it to propaganda machines in the media to push the narratives and the lies of the left. Again, go back to the beginning of my show. Get those pictures in your head of people in zombie state. Their flesh is being eaten, and we're sending $1 billion a week. This is just USAID. This isn't all the warmongering and all the foreign money that's going out. This is just USAID. That's supposed to be for international, the Agency for International Development, which in layman's term is the CIA. And they're forbidden to do anything in America, and yet they spent billions of dollars to send propaganda about Joe Biden and his administration. Our government and the people that run our government are so corrupt. I honestly swear to Almighty God, I don't believe there is any way out of this unless we burn it all to the ground. It's the truth. Do I want to have to burn it all the way to the ground? No, because that's what the left wants. The left wants civil war. They want chaos, and then they can, through that chaos, they will usurp all the powers. They will destroy all of our rights. And you might go, well, JJ, that might be too much. Really? You gave away all your rights for a stupid flu called the COVID. They didn't fire a shot. They told you to stay in housing. What do we all do? We stay in the house. They said you can't go to any of the mom and pop stores. We're going to allow them to bankrupt But you can go spend all your money at Amazon, the big box stores, and all of their profits will skyrocket and will destroy the small business in America. And we did it. Your kids can't go to school. You can't go to church. The strip joint's open because COVID doesn't really transmit through lap dances. I don't know why, but it just didn't. It's the way the Chinese not the Chinese, of course. It didn't come from Wuhan. We think that the natural mutation doesn't like to go from naked women to men that don't get any sex from their wives, and they have to go to these strip joints and see naked women. They're safe. It's a safe zone. Well, why were we all in strip joints? Why don't we just build strip joints around our house or turn our houses into strip joints? Couldn't go to church. No, because COVID dominated God. You could go to BLM riots. You could burn the country to the ground, but your kids couldn't go to school. So please spare me we'll never allow that to happen, JJ. What, are you on drugs? Are you partying with Hunter Biden? Of course we will. Of course we'll bend the knee, because we have enough stupid people in America that will continually bend the knee, and then all the media machines that are continually getting money from USAID and from the federal government. And don't tell me it's all stopped. That's a lie. And of course, they're going to pump out the propaganda the government tells you. Think about that. Think about our media structure was being paid by our government to push out propaganda. And they did it. I'm going to play you, because this is big news. Joe Biden, prostate cancer. But he was fit. He was fit to be president for another 4 years. Clay Travis of the Clay and Buck show took over for Rush Limbaugh. Actually, great show. He posted on X. It's 3 minutes long, and it's worth every second, because I want you to see the propaganda in real time. Not, hey, JJ said they're propaganda. No. This is during Joe Biden's term in office. I want you to see, Caleb, it's a 3-minute clip from, not the Joe Scarborough, but it's a 3-minute clip from Clay Travis. If you have that, I want you to watch this 3 minutes, and I want you to understand all of this is known propaganda, and all of it was paid by our government to the media organizations. Can you play this for me, please, Caleb?
Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden is the best Biden ever.
She knows so long as she was denied.
In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been.
President Biden has a photographic memory. His understanding and mastery of a complicated geopolitical situation, remarkable.
He is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here.
I was sitting, 2 feet from him across the table, and he was, intense.
Have trouble walking sometimes? Yeah, so did FDR. He wanted GD war.
But he's totally focused. He's very sharp.
They say he's sharp in meetings and so on.
Very lucid, very well informed. Biden is stately, and he comes with gravitas. There hasn't been, as far as I know, a single claim that Biden made a mistake.
Ageism is an issue. Americans have a rich history of holding people's physical characteristics against them. Okay, you can ask African Americans.
He's older. That doesn't mean that he is unfit, and there's a lot of ageism there.
Now, this age attack, this obsession by the right.
Joe Biden may not be able to speak for himself the way that he used to.
They want to think to take on government if we get out of line, which they're talking again about, and that's him lying around.
I think people should be speaking up for Joe Biden.
Americans and reporters in the media are just judging him by a physical appearance, and it's horribly unfair. Age is an asset.
He showed exactly how with it he is.
The flip side of this coin is that he has a tremendous amount of wisdom and experience.
Have you heard any concerns from anyone who has met with President Biden about him seeming a little slower?
No.
More wild speculation from a bunch of people who have probably never been in a room with Joe Biden and certainly don't have medical degrees that I'm aware of.
You don't get paid for performance to be president. The job is not a job of endurance. I don't see Donald Trump out bike riding like Joe Biden.
It's the Hillary's email. All they have is that he's old.
He can clear a dementia bar, and that's probably a win.
The media are not fair, and they're getting less and less fair, and things are frightening. You have Wall Street Journal running a horribly sourced piece saying that Biden is unfit.
Dubious Wall Street Journal report about the president's acuity.
Shoddy story by the Wall Street Journal questioning Biden's mental fitness.
Wall Street Journal story had a lot of flaws, as you said. But Sinclair, they didn't do any original reporting. They didn't follow up. They didn't do any work.
Here with us today is Hirsch Goldberg Poland, and is still, he is not here with us, but he's still being held by Hamas.
But a huge part of the Mueller report talks about Russian disinformation tactics. And one of the themes this election cycle is that Joe Biden is too old to lead. And so everyone is seizing upon this. And it is a classic disinformation tactic. And I think the best thing that we can do is to prepare the American people for this false narrative.
False narrative. That was propaganda right in your face for 4 years, paid by us. I hate to say, well, there needs to be an investigation, because that's like obvious. There has to be an investigation. But to be honest with you, what a waste of money that is, because I'm not seeing anybody arrested. I have the greatest respect for Dan Bongino. I don't know Kash Patel that much, because I've been following Dan Bongino since I was a young agent, because he was doing what I wanted to do. I wanted to have a voice. And he broke through all of the clutter and all the noise from a position as a NYPD, then a uniformed Secret Service agent, and then broke into Fox News and now on Rumble. I mean, he's somebody to look at and admire from the perspective of law enforcement and making the transition as I'm trying to do now, or as I'm doing now. And if you ask me, why do you have any hope at all? Well, there's two reasons: Donald Trump, and the second one is Dan Bongino. I don't think Dan Bongino can afford to fail. If he does not make massive, groundbreaking arrest, then he will lose the vast majority of his audience, and more important, he'll lose his name recognition. And men like us, that's all that really matters, is our name. That's it. The bombshell over the weekend. Joe Biden has terminal prostate cancer that has made it to his bones. And when I first saw that, I was like, oh, number one, I have no compassion for him. And I don't care how it sounds. He is an evil, arrogant SOB that has sold our nation. He's a traitor, and I don't want to give him any quarter. I don't care if he has dementia or stage 4 cancer. I don't care. I want him to be handcuffed and thrown into a hard cell and arraigned and indicted and then put on trial. And if he's found incompetent and mentally unstable, I want that in the history books, that 100 days from him leaving office, he is absolutely 100% full-on mental decline, where he has no idea where he's at. I want it in the record book. I don't want it to hearsay anymore. You do not get stage 4, end of the line prostate cancer within 120 days. Meaning he didn't get prostate cancer the day after the election Donald Trump took office. No. He had this cancer for years, and they hid it from us. They lied to us. They said that he could run and be our president for the next 4 years. Now we find out, no, the actual same guy that was on that montage was Jake Tapper, reaming everybody about all your conspiracy theories about Biden's mental decline. And now he's writing a book and trying to make millions of dollars off of it. The hypocrisy knows no bounds. And now they're trying to tell us that that same man that has no idea where he's at was about to be put in a wheelchair because if he fell one more time, he would have to be put in a wheelchair. Now we're finding out this man has stage 4, end of the road, you're going to die, prostate cancer. And it happened within the last 90 days. Sure it did. Here is a buffoon from MSNBC, Joe Scarborough, who has an alien-sized head. I just have to point it out. His head is so enormous. It's gigantic. The man that sat there and told us this is the best version of Joe Biden. He brings on a doctor, and the doctor tells him without a shadow of a doubt, this cancer has been with President Biden for a very, very, very long time. And Joe Scarborough is shocked. Of course he is. Play this one for me, Caleb.
You believe it is likely, if this prostate cancer has spread to the bone, that he could have had it for up to a decade, but certainly it's likely. Would it be fair to say it's likely to have had this for at least several years?
Oh, more than several years. You don't get prostate cancer.
So I just want to stop you. So this is not speculation. If you have prostate cancer that is spread to the bone, then he's most certainly, you are saying, had it when he was president of the United States.
Oh, yeah. He did not develop it in the last 100, 200 days. He had it while he was president. He probably had it at the start of his presidency in 2021. Yes, that I don't think there's any disagreement about that.
And I'm just curious again, if your doctor to a president of the United States that is a male, that is an older man, would a prostate test, and again, we're just talking about a PSA screening, a blood test that you could do along with all the other blood tests. It's not even that it would be intrusive. Would this not be one of the first tests that you would conduct as a White House doctor?
If you're a White House doctor in this situation, I think you would certainly discuss it with the president and talk about the pros and cons. I think if you then ask, well, if President Biden says, well, if I'm your father, which patients often do, you know, what would you recommend? I think the fact is that most White House doctors would recommend getting the test. And again, the evidence is, look at President Obama, President Bush, younger than President Biden, and they both got the test.
There you have it. Even on the propaganda machine, MSNBC, they can't hide the fact this man has been sick probably for at least a decade and told no one. I don't mind you not telling us. Like, I have prostate cancer, but I've taken care of it and I am on the mend, or I have beaten it and I get a clean bill of health. It's nobody's business. Then I run for president. And then I'm in stage 2, I'm in stage 3, I'm in stage 4. I'm in stage 4. I have a terminal illness, and then I'm going to try to run for president. Now listen, let's lay it all out. You have a man that is completely has dementia or Alzheimer's, completely has no idea where he's at, and he's going to die in a year. His wife, who needs to be put in jail for elder abuse, and then you have the AutoPen crowd that wants to maintain their power they were literally using a dying man's body as a prop of someone that was to sit in a position. He was a dead suit. He was a mannequin. At least a mannequin won't talk and make a jackass out of himself and won't fall down. You can just prop it up. That's what Joe Biden was. Joe Biden was a talking, distorted mannequin. And they used his dementia and Alzheimer's. They used his terminal illness as a way to run the country and thus run the world. The auto pen is a massive scandal. Probably the biggest story going right now is we talk about US aid, we talk about Hillary Clinton, we talk about the Russia, we talk about all this stuff. All of it goes back, James Comey, all goes back to the election, stolen election of Joe Biden, and then the people that wanted to have another term, AKA, or just let's be honest, Obama, they had it. And they had an auto pen that signed everything. So everything that was signed in those 4 years needs to be revoked. All of it, all the pardons, all the bills signed, every single last thing that auto penned and or Joe Biden signed is null and void. Who's going to have the biggest balls in the history of civilization to do that? Honestly, any business, massive business contracts, and you can prove the person was mentally unfit, the court of law will make that null and void. Why? You're talking about contracts. We're talking about life and death. We're talking about pulling out of Afghanistan. We're talking about funding all the terrorists. We're talking about using USAID to fund and destroy countries across the globe. That's a little bit more powerful than some contractual contract between a construction company and a homeowner. And yet silence. Look, before I go to this next one, because I'm looking at my screen, I'm seeing her face up on there, and it just makes me want to either throw up or be violent. And that's Hillary Clinton, one of the most disgusting humans on planet Earth. Just easily evil in a pantsuit. An asexual evil being in a pantsuit. That's Hillary Clinton. How do we take back our power? How do we take back our buying power? Well, you go and you purchase products that you need from American companies, from companies that align with you spiritually, physically, emotionally. Not companies, box stores that sell tainted products from, quote, the big groups, and they take your profit from poisoning you with metals and plastics, and then they give money to BLM, Planned Parenthood, defund the police, the Democratic Party. Why would we do that? Because we never had a choice. Now we do. PatriotsMade.com. Go to PatriotsMade.com/JJ. From there, you'll have access to a company that sells over 450 products that you use every day. But they're not made of poisons. Let me give you an example. I used to use Clorox wipes. I would use that for 5-10 minutes, just cleaning my countertops. My hands would begin to almost burn. I have real big hands. There's no buying gloves. There's no woman's gloves that I can jam my hands in. My hands begin to burn. What the hell am I putting in my house? I want products that are safe. I want products that are natural. I want products that are made by Americans for Americans. Go to PatriotsMade.com/JJ. Now, on to the demon. And she is a demon. Hillary Clinton. And I just titled this to myself as like a reminder before I play this, is how much do they hate us? How much do they hate God? How much do they hate God's natural order? And I saw this clip and I was like, this is how much they hate us. This is how much they hate God's natural order. Listen to her. And Caleb, if you'll stop at like a minute 44, minute 45, I appreciate it. Hang in there, audience. Just a minute 45 seconds to listen to this screeching owl. Go ahead.
As I posted the other day this very blatant effort to basically send a message, most exemplified by Vance and Musk and others, that, what we really need from you women are more children. And what that really means is you should go back to doing what you were born to do, which is to produce more children. And they're talking about, cash benefits for the more children you have. This has been tried, by the way, in other countries, and it has not worked. Or medals if you have 6 children, while they're contemplating cutting Medicaid, while they have no interest in paid family leave or funding quality child care. They're cutting Head Start. I mean, you go down the list of all the programs that support child rearing and the care of children and create, some safety net for women who are in the workforce, the formal workforce, as well as, raising children. So this is another performance about concerns they allegedly have for family life. But if you had read the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025, despite Trump saying he knew nothing about it, if you had read it, it's all in there. It's all in there. Return to the family, the nuclear family, return to being a Christian nation, return to, producing a lot of children, which is sort of odd because the people who produce the most children in our country are immigrants and they want to deport them. So none of this adds up. But
listen to what she said. She's mocking the nuclear family, women having children, and eradicating illegal aliens out of our country. How about this, you witch? Why don't we look at what you just said and understand you don't want us having any more children. You want to use women and put them into middle management. Oh, that's a thrilling life. I've been in middle management. Let me tell you what, there's nothing more thrilling than being in middle management. Oh, it's incredible. It's exhilarating. Asking people for days off and getting denied. Told you have to come in on a Saturday or a Sunday. Getting fired. Downsized. Instead of being with a man that loves you and that's going to work for you, and you have children that love you, but you end up 40 years old hoping to have your frozen eggs produce some kind of child, but you don't have a man. So now you're going to what? What are you going to do? Now you're miserable. Now you color your hair purple and become a lesbian. That seems to be the trend. This is how much the left hate everything that we are. They hate us. They don't hate Trump. They hate Trump. Let me rephrase that. They don't hate Trump with that intense hatred because of Trump. They hate Trump with that intense hatred because he represents us. He represents the unwashed masses of Americans that want to have children, that want to have a nuclear family, that believe in a God, that don't want to be replaced by illegal aliens. She mentioned it, so I'm going to go there. Who has the most babies? Well, illegal immigrants. Illegal and legal, but illegal. And she wants us not to have any children. Well, then she wants us to be replaced. And that is the truth. This is what the Democrats, funded by the Republicans, have done to us for decades. More specifically, the last 4.5 years has brought in our replacements. Go ask any 40, 50-year-old woman if middle management was worth it. That's why you're seeing this massive, massive change into traditional wives. I'll be honest. When I pray to God for my son and his future, I pray for his wife to be a traditional, God-fearing Christian woman that wants to stay home and raise a family. That is my prayer to my son. Am I knocking women working? No. I have all my sisters are moms, career women at one time in their lives, but then became stay-home moms. Went to college, got degrees. I'm not I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we have been lied to. We have been propagandized to believe that the nuclear family isn't important. The having children is not important. Killing your baby in order for you not to be encumbered by a life that God put inside your body and that you were entrusted to grow. No, you need to kill it, and then you need to try to get that second and third promotion into to the upper middle management. Unbelievable. Unbelievable what we as Americans swallowed, digested as the truth. I find it fascinating how propaganda works. Fascinating how it just dominated the American way of life. I saw this clip by a congressman, and he says it very concisely. Just open your eyes. Look at what our government has done to us. Play this for me, Caleb, please.
The left loves to fact check, so why don't we take a moment and hear some cold, hard facts. Fact number one, under the Biden administration, more than 1 million illegal aliens received Medicaid benefits. Fact number two, in fiscal year 2024 alone, over 2 million illegal aliens were given Social Security numbers. Fact number three, a 2023 study showed that the net cost of illegal aliens to the American taxpayer was at least $150 billion annually. Fact number four, states are still having to bear the financial burden of Biden's border crisis. Texan taxpayers have to shell out $8.88 billion a year to pay for the illegal aliens who invaded their state. For Californians, it's almost $22 billion. By the way, fact number five, in some states, it's a complete affront to citizens. I'm talking about where illegal aliens can get mortgages, bank loans, insurance, driver's license, in-state college tuition, and free health care. For illegal aliens, the U.S. has been an all-you-can-eat buffet, but the American taxpayer and innocent women like Laken Riley, Jocelyn Nungare, and Rachel Morin have paid the full price of the left's open border agenda. It's time to turn off the faucet permanently. American taxpayers shouldn't have to fund their own demise, paying for government programs that actually encourage an invasion.
It is refreshing to hear people use the terms I have written books about, film documentaries on, where people would recoil at the term invasion. Now that word is commonplace. We were invaded. Our government turned its back on American peoples because we needed to be replaced. That's just the truth. We talked about SAT 123. We talked about taking back our power with Patriots Made. And my final product is Bella Grace that I want to talk about. And why do we need Bella Grace to be prepared? Because everything is about your health. Yeah, I want to fight. I want to be in the fight, like physically in the fight. I physically want to go out and ride bikes with my son as I get older. I don't want to be the old dad. I refuse to be that. Well, how do I do that? I take back my health. How do I do that? As Dr. Lucky from Bella Grace says, it starts with your gut, your immune system, the way that you digest food, the way that that you fight inflammation. Inflammation is the main killer. So I use the elixir. I go to bellagrace.com/truth and I use the elixir. I love their product. I love it. It's changed the way I feel. Do you have that either Abby commercial or the commercial from Dr. Lucky? You can play one of those two for me, Caleb, if you will. But shop bellagrace.com/truth. Oh, I see it's Abby's turn, so we'll see Abby's commercial.
Elevate your skin's natural radiance with the Bella Grace Dewy Serum, your go-to for smooth, hydrating, and glowy skin. Infused with nourishing ingredients, it provides deep hydration, a soft texture, and a luminous, dewy finish. Like, come on, look at that. Whether you're at home, on the go, or heading to practice like me, Bella Grace Dewy Serum fits seamlessly into your daily routine. Glow from within all day long. Bella Grace Dewy Serum. To get your hands on this product, go to www.shopbellagrace.com/truth. Start your day with the glow that comes from within. Introducing Bella Grace Elixir, a beauty secret that nurtures your skin from the inside out. Packed with natural ingredients, Bella Grace helps collagen production, reduce fine lines, and restore your youthful glow. And the best part, Bella Grace is perfect for your busy life. Take it with you on the go wherever you go. Bella Grace Elixir. Discover the secret to timeless beauty. To get your hands on this product, go to www.shopbellagrace.com/truth.
Love Abby. shopbellagrace.com/truth. Here's someone else that I admire her. Laura Logan. She's awesome. And she piggybacks on what that congressman was saying and debunks Hillary Clinton and all the propaganda. And that is that our federal government was sending, when I said it out loud months ago, people were like, oh, dude, you are so off the chart, man. What was I saying? Well, we're sending Social Security overseas, Medicare overseas. Illegal aliens were getting earned income tax credit from the IRS, and it was sent to bank accounts or to addresses, physical checks into Mexico. Oh, you're insane. Oh, really? No, actually, I was just on the target, like always. Watch this from Laura Logan.
Yes, people are losing their security clearances, and that's a big deal. Yes, people are losing their government contracts. We don't care about that anymore. Dr. Fauci was responsible for the death of millions of people. The fact that he doesn't have his job anymore isn't good enough.
Yeah.
USAID has been funding a radical Marxist agenda all over the world. We have been giving out business loans to children. We have been sending Social Security and Medicare payments overseas. We have
to
been
dead people.
and to dead people.
150-year-olds.
Yes. And no one has yet been held accountable for any of that.
I'm going to show you last video that kind of really ties in all of the lies, all the corruption, and all the fraud. Here is a billionaire describing what he needed to do to get a legitimate grant from the government compared to what Stacey Abrams had to do. Go ahead and play this, Caleb.
I had this kid pinging me constantly on Twitter, and he's like, I think we need to build a domestic battery business in the United States to compete with the two Chinese national champions. So we start the company, him and myself, a professor from Stanford, and this other guy who worked at Toyota. We get a deal with General Motors. They invest, they go on the board. Things are going well. We needed the approval of the DOE. We stand in line. We play exactly down the middle. We file this like 600-page report. The consultants that they told us to pay, we paid. We did everything. And we get picked. Federal government gives us $100 million. Michigan gives us 50 to build this factory in the United States. And then when Elon goes into Doge, I find like Stacey Abrams in 30 days got a $2 billion grant to like buy appliances for like 25,000 people in Georgia. We have a 50-person team that makes batteries to compete with the Chinese at the same quality. We got $100 million by a 2-year process. She started an application on June 1. June 30, you got $2 billion. How does that work in America? Is that right?
No, it's not right. Then we come all the way back full circle. Why have we ignored our own nation? Well, I hope after seeing this episode, you understand why we ignored our own nation. Because the powers, the elites, business elites, corporate elites, the political elites, they use the United States of America as their own personal bank. The United States of America, not USAID, not the grant process, not anything, the United States of America government, the totality of America, is the largest money laundering machine in the history of civilization. We're 40 trillion in debt. Are we really 40 trillion? Did we really overspend 40 trillion, or did they steal fraudulently through grants? Did they steal our 40 trillion? I think it's obvious now. They have stole our present and they have stolen our future. They are traitors, all of them.
You're watching Worldview 2, built on the 35 years of Worldview books, documentaries, research, high-profile interviews, and the radio and television broadcasts of Brannon House.